Hello, everybody. Welcome to Trusty's Vintage Live Sale tonight. I appreciate several of you signing on early. I saw that we've got Karen was the first. Karen Radford was the first one that I happened to see, and so I appreciate you coming on, Karen. And then I saw that Resell Hobo wanted a great seat, so I hope you enjoy the show. Resell Hobo. Not sure I recognize the name, so hopefully if you've been in the sale before, appreciate you coming back. Sometimes I have a hard time following the chat while the sale is going on, so the Huckster Helper sometimes recognizes names more than I do. But I definitely recognize Karen, so appreciate you being able to come back. And then we've got Terrian's Eclectic This and That. And I am not casting stones because everyone has a hard time saying my name as well. But thanks for coming back, Terry Ann. Got Nanette Mendoza. She has been a relatively new addition. I know she purchased from me last week. So appreciate you coming back, Nanette. Great seeing your name again. Maria, California Thrifter. Got the West Coast is already starting to get covered. We'll see who else we've got coming in. But great to have Maria with us tonight. Judy Scallett, recognize that name again. Thank you so much for coming back. Ooh, Auntie Christie, another West Coaster. I think I recognize your name. So if whether you're new or whether you're back, appreciate you joining us. Nate coming in from New Zealand. So always nice to have Nate with the international contingent. Saw Greg was here from Blue Feather Mercantile. Lesta Fitzpatrick. Everyone's saying hi to each other. Randy Heilman. Welcome back, Randy. Appreciate you coming over. Oh, Auntie Christie, thank you for sharing that Jeffrey and Barb sent you over. Always nice. This is a great vintage community, and it's great when everyone supports each other. And a couple of people have asked me that do they feel that we compete against each other or that there's, some level of protection or whatever. And that's really not the case. We all pretty much sell a little bit something different. We've got, Michelle with Comfy Cozy Living. I'm not sure if she's on here yet. She's got the marathon sessions covered, and I will never try and compete to Michelle's. I think she was at over 5 hours long today for her live sale. You won't get that here. So, but there's a little bit for everybody. So people that want 2 hour or 5 hour live sales, you always will be able to find them at Michelle at Comfy Cozy Living. And speaking of Michelle, I'm scrolling to see if she's here. I don't see her yet, but as scrolling across the bottom of the screen, you actually can see Michelle and I are actually going to be hosting a vintage meetup. So anybody who is in the Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, kind of Chicagoland area, we are going to be doing a vintage meetup on Saturday. August 29th is a Saturday. It happens to be the date that a new vintage mall is opening up. It's a mall that I'm actually currently in. They're open now, but they're kind of doing a grand reopening. They changed owners during COVID. So that's happening on the 29th. And so we've decided to turn it into kind of a day of thrifting. So we're going to start at 9 o'clock. We are going to go to St. Vincent de Paul's warehouse, which is one of my favorite places to go. And I was trying to grab a comment. It scrolls. It's great when everyone's very, very active, but sometimes it's harder for me to grab comments as they pop by. See if I can find it again. So that was actually next Thursday so on the 29th, 9 o'clock, we'll be starting out with a stop at St. Vincent de Paul warehouse. We'll then be doing a small past and present shop that's a vintage store. Then we'll grab some lunch. Then we'll go to the grand opening. We will go to Warehouse 55, which is a new place that I found that I absolutely love. And then Thrift and Dollar, which if you've watched my show before, you've actually heard me talk about Thrift and Dollar. I get a lot of stuff there. And they are open till 7 o'clock, which is unfortunately rare right around now. So we're going to have a long day, 5 stops. People can come for just part of the day. They can start in the morning, leave at lunch, come to just for lunch. You can do whatever you want. Don't even have to buy anything. It's just going to be Michelle and I hanging out and taking every place some of my honey holes that hopefully everyone can enjoy. So that is happening on the 29th. And then next week, we will have, as I'm always doing my shows, we've got another show next week, which is the group sale. So for the group sale, we've got this for the month of August, we will have Fatbird Finds. We will have Vintage Vinny, both of them making return visits to the to my show, doing the sale. And then for the first time, we're going to have the Vintage Carriage House. And as it plays itself out, it appears this will be her first sale. So we're really excited to have another newbie coming onto my channel and kind of letting her cut her teeth on doing a live sale with the group activity. And hopefully everyone will be able to sign in and be able to support her. So we've got that going on the 20th. And then the following week, it'll go back to my regular schedule where I just do my own shows or my own sales. So it'll be a solo sale, but I'll have another theme, and that theme will be vintage toys and games. And when I have a theme sale, that is when Trusty's bargain bin comes back. So on the 27th, we will have another bargain bin where everything in the bin is $2. And also mention, if you like our deep dives, did a really popular deep dive this last Sunday on little golden books. It is quickly becoming one of the most popular ones in my playlist. You can go onto my channel and look in playlists. You can see the individual deep dives that I've got. So the most recent one was little golden books. And in the 23rd will be the second deep dive of the month. And that will be Swizzle Sticks with Kitschy and Bitchy. She does not have a YouTube channel, but she does have an Instagram channel. So you can follow her on Instagram, and we will be doing an entire deep dive just on Swizzle Sticks. So hopefully that will be a lot of fun. So this chat has continued to go. Barb JM has joined. Oh, and Barb from Winking Owl Antiques has also joined. Thank you so much for coming in. And Michelle from Comfy Cozy Living is here. So I think Michelle, you might have missed. I was talking about you. So we talked about our joint vintage meetup that'll be taking place on the 29th. So if you can't get enough of Michelle, and maybe even can't get enough of me, you can meet us in person if you happen to live in the Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana-ish area. Aurora, Illinois is a far western suburb of Chicago, for those who do not know. So got a couple of some few more additions coming in. Jean Max, welcome. Laura Bimos from Bimos Mercantile. I'm sure she'll be looking forward to the toys and games sale because I will actually be selling some of the dominoes that I had on display during her deep dive. So she's another deep dive that you can find on my channel, a deep dive on vintage dominoes. So that will be a you can look into that one. If that became the fastest or the biggest deep dive at the time it was posted. So a couple of others are trying to scramble past it. But I love the deep dives. I really appreciate those of you who can join us. So try to say hi to a couple other people. Lorianne from Vintage Roots Collection. Thank you so much for joining us. Hi to Corey. Had your screen up there a little bit. Trying to see who I might have missed. Chris Reese, excellent. Chris has purchased on my Etsy store a couple of times. So great to have Chris on my live sale as well. And I apologize. Oh, another West Coaster, Michelle from Mermaid Cove is also here. So appreciate everyone joining the sale tonight. I hope we'll have some fun. I got some great items. Apologize for those of you who follow me on Instagram. I was not able to get as many previews up, so I just kind of posted one, and it was a shot of basically as I'm sitting here at the driver's seat. It's the shelving section that I have right next to me where I have most of the items that I will be listing tonight. So appreciate again everyone joining in, and going to go over a couple new names. Heather is from the Vintage Collectible, I think. So appreciate you joining us, Heather. So for anybody who is new, so a couple new names. For anybody who's new, it does work the way all of the other live sales, or I think most of the other live sales work. We are not an auction. None of the items that I do will be an auction. They will always be an individual price, selling it at the price I name. So I will show you the item. I will give you that price, and then I will name the item, the number of the item. You need to be the first person to put the number of that item into the live chat. Please make sure you're in the chat and not the comments. That has become an issue a couple of times. So make sure you're in the chat, and it's always good to be in the live chat instead of the top chat It helps a little bit to just so you have a better view of what's actually going on. The first person the Huckster helper sees in our feed on our side is the person we will announce as the person claiming the item. Please understand, internet speeds vary. You will likely see yourself as the first name on many items because you are closest to your own internet. Imagine that. So you'll bounce back as being the first thing to be read on your feed. It has to travel to us, and we have to see it in order. The item the name that we announce, unless there's an obvious error, which, we are fallible, but no arguments, no fighting the Huckster helper. I will take you down. The Huckster helper is my daughter, for those of you who don't know. So she will be doing her best to maintain everything in the chat. She will tell you in the chat who the winner is, and then I will try and give you a verbal shout out as well, just so there's not confusion of what sold, what didn't sell, who it went to, all that kind of stuff. The prices I give you do not include shipping. So before the end of the evening, what I will need you to do, or some point after the sale, what I will need you to do is send me an email that actually gives me your shipping information. If you've ordered from me before, that's less critical. I can usually take the Huckster helper's notes, and we're like 99% accuracy, but it wouldn't hurt if you think about it to drop me a note. You don't have to remember the numbers. You don't have to remember the details. If you think of it and you tell me what you got, that'd be great, but I don't want to put a lot of burden on you. I really just need, if you've never ordered from me before, I need your shipping address. I can see you in the chat. I can click on your little name and let your note stick up on the page, but I have no way of contacting you. Even though you're in the sale, there's no way for me to contact you. So if you've never bought from me before and you are successful in claiming an item, please send me the email. Similarly, if you are, from what you can see, you're one of the top bidders and you didn't succeed in getting anything else, go ahead. You can still go ahead and send me an email if you've never bought from me before. Sometimes people have to back out for whatever reason, and the item that they bought, they don't get. If I know the next person on the list wants it and I can get a hold of them, I will reach out to you and ask if you still want it. And that has happened multiple times. So always good to keep communication lines open. I think that's all we need to do. Want to get things started and get the sale on the way. So the first item I'm going to have is just the one that happens to be right next to me. It is a piece of metalware. If you are a regular viewer of my channel, in general, I do a lot of glass, pottery, and porcelain, but things change. And so this was a really cool piece that I found that I really liked. You can see it's kind of got that Celtic knot type design in the middle. It is hammered into it, so it's a repoussé. It is recessed on the top so that it pushes out on the back, so that on the inside, the tray is still completely flat. You don't have to worry about things wobbling on it or trying to deal with, being on a lip. The back is where the ridges are. And as long as you're setting it down on something that's also flat, it will sit nice and flat. There's some really nice details with this, with the hammered edges as well. Those are also punched from the back. So those are recessed on the back and raised on the front. There's just some really nice detail with this. Unfortunately, it's not marked. So the last type of piece of copper I had was actually marked from the Copper Guild. It had the similar quality and a couple of the similar designs, but I think that's just the way copper work gets done. So unfortunately, I don't have the maker on this one, and I couldn't really swear to the age. I do believe it. You can see there is a lot of really nice detail in this. The impressions are very clean, and I think it'll just make a great, attractive piece regardless of its age. So I'm selling it for $8. So the item is $8. You get that by giving me number 2. $8, number 2 for the copper tray. Jumping to a piece of glass, something a little bit more the norm. This is one of these items. Again, if you watch my channel in the past, I tend to have a little bit of an obsession against damage. And in general, I won't sell something that has damage unless there's something special about it. There's a place for things that have patina. There's a place for, there's a place for everything, as long as it's priced appropriately and it's well declared. So I'll always let people know when something has damage. And if I have something with damage, it's because I think there's something special enough that it justifies it. And this is one of them. So this is a blown glass perfume bottle. Probably not particularly old. I would say this is probably from like the 90s to the 2000s. It's a very thin glass. You can see there's kind of the wavy panel to it. The panels turn into a curve down at the bottom. It has kind of a plum color kind of a pinkish, kind of a purple, but more of a reddish color. And then alternating every fourth of the panels has been painted gold. The bottle itself, the scent bottle itself, is in absolutely perfect condition. Where we ran into a problem is the stopper. So you can see it's a scent bottle stopper, and the bar piece that would sit in there to actually dab the perfume, so you could actually dab it on your neck, is gone. If you're dabbing this on your neck, you're probably going to kill yourself. So this is really, I'm including it because at a distance, this actually looks like a finished and an attractive piece. So if you're getting a shelf sitter, this is a really nice piece. If you want a functional bottle, you can keep the bottle off. You can put a cork in there instead. I thought it looked a little funny without at least something in there. So you've got the little stopper, but then there's also a little bit of a chip at the top. You can see where the flame is kind of jagged a little bit. So this could also kill you. So, you know, if you want a weapon, this is a really pretty one. So this is an attractive bottle. It was broken on the set of She Loves Me, which takes place in a perfume shop. You know, a lot of what I've done for my resale business has been selling the props and set dressing that I do for community theater. So this is one of them. It's damaged. The bottle's in perfect condition, but it's not usable without doing some replacement pieces. So I'm only selling it for $5. So $5 for the perfume bottle, and you can have that by giving me number 51. 51. $5 for the glass perfume bottle. All right, and jump into the chat. And number 2, the German, the copper tray went to Sandy for Sandy's lilacs. So congratulations, Sandy, for picking that up. All right, I always try and see some of the comments because sometimes people talk about what I'm showing. And yes. This has, if you, Cindy Lou, who putting that, I have a shelf on the window that already has glass. And for a short time, that was there while I was building up that collection. And it's a really pretty color that shines through. All right. The next piece is going into the regular kind of pottery, ceramic, porcelain, you know, categories. This is just a fun piece that I had found that unfortunately is not marked on it. It is a ceramic piece. I think it's like one of those DIY, studio ceramic pieces. It is not marked even with somebody's initials. It's extremely well done. So it's possible this was a production piece. It just that maybe had a paper label that fell off. I don't know what it is. I'm guessing it's a napkin holder, maybe. I'm also guessing it's an old married couple of ducks because they're not looking at each other. So, you know, I think that's very fitting. I also don't even know if it's a couple. I'm not sure how to tell the difference between the white ducks. If Nesting Haven's on here, I can find some blue ribbon for you and I can put a ribbon on it and they can bleed the blue bow ducks. But right now, this is just a simple white ducks with the yellow bill or the orange bills and the orange feet, slightly separated to indicate, I think something should sit there. I just don't know what it is. So like I said, my guess is it's a napkin holder, seeing if anybody else had said anything that might actually, they might know what it is. But without any marks on it, I mean, I tried to look up pair of ducks ignoring each other and I didn't find anything. So it is kind of cool. It just happens that no matter how you put it, one of the ducks will be looking at you. So anyway, kind of a cool piece. It's a decent weight. Again, it's a piece of ceramic, so it's not like a lightweight porcelain. I mean, it's a piece of ceramic. So we've got the 2 ducks. They're available for $13, and you can have them for, give me number 27. Okay, mail holder and the napkin holder. So Kim at Oh My Vintage also agreed that it could be a napkin holder. I like the idea for mail because napkins would kind of get floppy, but I could see that holding mail. So anyway, number 27. $13 for the ducks that don't like each other. All right, back into the chat. So number 51, the perfume bottle went to Auntie Christie. Congratulations. Congratulations for getting that. And I apologize. There's a comment on the screen that I don't know where it came from. Okay, there we go. Once the comment passes, I can't find it. So I had to do something else. All right. A couple weeks ago, I did a specialty sale that had it was primarily jewelry, and I did some trinket boxes. I did, some makeup pieces, and it turned out there was another piece that I should have had in the sale, and unfortunately, I literally just forgot I had it. At some point, when you start storing everything, you kind of forget what you have. So then it's like Christmas morning all over when you open a box and say, "Oh, I should have sold that in the last sale." So this is a powder box. So probably not necessarily the best place to sell was the jewelry sale, so it really doesn't matter. I don't have really a lot of information on this. I do believe there's some age to this. This is going at least, I would say, 70s, maybe 80s, but I think it could be earlier than that. It's got this great ribbing on the glass. It is molded glass. If you look really closely right where the foot is, you can see there's a seam that goes up that side. So it is molded glass, but there's no longer any markings on it. I don't see anything etched into the glass itself. And the lid is a metal lid, but there's no, again, there's not a paper label. There's no etching. There's no marking to say who made it. The way this looks, it's a very cool looking piece, but I'm assuming this was probably sold with the powder already in it. I mean, it's decorative, but I don't think this is necessarily a, over the top decorative piece, or maybe it was just part of one of those larger sets. This is the only piece that I have. So it's a very cool powder box, glass base, molded glass base with the metal top. Everything's in great condition. Tiny, tiny bits of oxidation on the metal itself. Can probably polish that up, but I like a little bit of that, the patina, because it's got the darker coloration on the top of it. It's only $6. So the powder box is $6, and you can have that by giving me number 40. Number 40, $6 for the powder box. All right. One of the things you'll hear me talk about a lot on my sales, even some of my other videos, there is a charity that I really like to support. Sometimes the person who runs that charity comes onto the show, and it's the Just One More Dachshund Rescue, JOMDR.org. I'll be doing a fundraiser for them in November, where I will take actually one of my live sales during that month. I'm working with her to figure out which date, but I'm going to take one of the live sales that month and 100% of the money that I raise during that live sale will actually be given to the Just One More Dachshund Rescue. That one won't necessarily all be dog items, but anytime I have a dog item, I like to talk about JOMDR, even if it's not a dachshund, which this one isn't. So this is a piece that I picked up that is a little chalkware piece, a terrier of some sort. I really don't know, because of the coloration. It's kind of like a brown with a black. I don't think it's an Airedale. I know it's not a Schnauzer. It's not a Scotty, but it's one of those types of terriers. So it's this great looking piece of chalkware. Where I found it, where they had two of them, and one of them had the whiskers on the front had been snapped off. And because I don't like to carry things with damage, I didn't get that one. So I just got this. Unfortunately, when I unwrapped it, when I came back, I discovered an old crack. So it did crack, and somebody glued it back on. Now, they did a pretty decent job, because like I said, I was looking for damage and I did not see the damage on this. So it would be this ear that's damaged. And if you look really, really closely there at the top, you can see where that entire ear had been severed off. So unfortunately, this piece is going to be nowhere near the value of what I thought it would going to bring. But it is one of those cases that even though there's damage, I do feel this is sweet enough. I do feel this is special enough. It still has the hook, so it can be hung. So if you make this a wall hung piece, you're not going to see that crack. So I really liked the looks of the piece. So I made it available in sale, but I just priced it accordingly. So it's only $5. So $5 for the little terrier chalkware piece, $5 by giving me number 50. $5, number 50 for the terrier chalkware piece. All right, and jumping back to the chat, number 40, the dish went to Helen Casey. And actually, Dawn must be here tonight, because I just saw the comment. So yes, the last two that she rescued was just last week, was a dachshund and a Shiba Inu bonded pair. The owner abandoned them in the woods, but was captured on video. So hopefully they will be held accountable for their actions. Unfortunately, both dogs had severe medical issues that are being addressed. So it is a great rescue that are great charitable organization that unfortunately will always need money because they tend to specialize in senior dogs, and they can never say no to a Schnauzer, even when a Shiba Inu it comes into the mix. So thanks for joining us again, Dawn, and good luck with. You told me their names. Wait a minute, Jameson, and they're both alcohol related. Jameson and I can't remember the other one. So anyway, so appreciate you joining us. All right, going into the porcelain world, which again, if you're familiar with the show, you'll see a lot of. This is a piece of Royal Copenhagen porcelain. What I love about a lot of porcelain, and particularly European porcelain, is I love the research that sometimes gets associated with it. And so this is, it's a pretty traditional view from Denmark. That is the sculpture of the Little Mermaid. She's much smaller than you would think. I can't say she's life-size or not life-size because really, what's the size of a freaking mermaid? But when you walk past her, they're usually the crowd around her blocks her view because she's not all that big. But that is what she looks like. And this is a very sweet dish, and it's obviously something that's on virtually any souvenir piece. But this is a Royal Copenhagen piece. And when I did a little bit of digging, what I like about European porcelain is in many cases, and American places do this as well, but Europeans tend to get really creative, and they've been around a lot longer. They have, if you look really closely, you can see underneath the A in Denmark, you can see a line. And if you don't do a lot with porcelain, you may not realize if you see a line, a dot, a wiggle, an accent, a circle, anything somehow associated with the back stamp, it's the date. It's how they indicate the date. And that particular indication when the A is underlined means this is actually from 1959. So it's actually significantly older than you might think because this is probably a piece they continue to produce. And so what makes this one special is just because of its age. So what would have happened is in 59, they underlined the A. In 60, they would have underlined the R. And then in 61, they underlined the K. And then because I was doing the research, what I discovered is so if there's a line under any of the letters in Royal, those are the oldest. Denmark is then the next oldest, and then they started underlining Copenhagen. So if you see lines under the word Copenhagen, those are actually post 1962. So still some age, but regardless, that's what that mark looks like. This is the Little Mermaid. You probably don't care about any of that stuff, but this is my show, and I like talking about that stuff. So this is a porcelain piece that you can pick up for only $6. So you too can have Little Mermaid, the real thing. Well, as close to the real thing as you can get. $6 by giving me number 42. Number 42, $6 for the Little Mermaid Royal Copenhagen porcelain. Hey, Vinny. And Karen Dondelinger's here. Hey, Stephanie from Thrifting Adventures. So this is always one of those unfortunate pieces. So Thrifting Adventures also does live sales, but in the lag time of the calendar, hers are always on Tuesday. So by the time I'm talking about them on Thursday, you just missed her. So keep your calendar marked. On Tuesday is when Stephanie does her sales at Thrifting Adventures. So make sure you check those out. And pretty sure that Vinny is going to do another live sale this Saturday. And then Vinny is doing his own multi-group sale, 4 sellers, 1 sale. And his is going to be, unfortunately, the same day that Michelle and I are hosting the vintage meetup. So if you can't make our meetup, you can see, oh no, I should have written this down. You can see Tim from Over the Years, Michelle at Mermaid Cove, somebody else, and Vinny. So Vinny would like to share who the somebody else is. So I apologize. So yes, Vinny's also hosting a joint sale. And then Vinny does a lot of his sales on Saturdays, like early evening, late afternoon. So watch his calendar as well. So some great, so there's just so many great sales, and, spread the wealth, jump around, support each other's channels. We try and jump on each other's as we can. But all of us do something slightly different, and, really appreciate having all of you there. So number 50, the Chalkware dog plaque went to Greg at Blue Feather Mercantile. Great. I think that's the first time you bought from us, Greg. So thank you very much for picking that up. Guinness was the other dog. I knew it was alcohol related. So Jameson and Guinness were the 2 dogs that Dawn at Just One More Dachshund rescued. And then number 42, the Little Mermaid dish went to Thrifting Adventures. So we've got somebody else from the West Coast because she is in Washington State. I want to say near Vancouver, but I wouldn't swear to that. So like I think upper Northwest. But anyway, thank you all. Thank you very much for picking those items up. And moving on to the next one. So this is just a quirky little piece that I picked up that unfortunately my Google Lens failed me. I couldn't find anything because it's not marked, but it's cute. So it's a little piece. I don't know if you would call it driftwood because I don't know where this came from and I don't really know how it's all been made, but it's just a little piece of wood that onto it has been carved in some way and in some material, a little tiny turtle. Now, oddly, when you set it up, it would set, flat like this. The turtle's kind of like leaping out of out of a hole. But it's not, I mean, you could try and set it up, but it's not flat on the bottom. So to put him, so it looks like he's about to crawl onto the ground, I didn't break him. You can try and put him flat, but I think he is designed to go up. He's just puts himself at a weird angle, but a weird angle that makes him look freaking cute because it looks like he's waving. So again, I don't know what he's made out of. I don't think that is another piece of wood, but it might be because I don't think it's shell, and I really don't know how to tell. It could be resin, but I see like resin would be kind of odd to put with such a natural, and then there's like all the little like woodland stuff that's shoved in there. So I don't know if anybody's seen these. I don't know if this is a thing, so maybe other people are familiar with this. I mean, I'm picking up in the Midwest, and this seems like something that would be like in Nantucket. I don't know if they have turtles there, but it's just a cool little piece. Really don't know a lot about them. Really don't know a lot of the age. I just want to give them a good home. So if you would like to give the little driftwood turtle a home, you can do so for $6. So $6 for a little driftwood turtle by giving me number 39. Number 39, the little turtle for $6. All right. Moving back to a little piece of porcelain. This is another item that, coincidentally enough, this wasn't intentional, but I basically hit that box. And so that's what happens. And this is another prop that graced the stage of She Loves Me, but this one did not break. So what this is, and hopefully I can hold it in a way that the camera will pick it up. This is a piece of Limoge porcelain. You can see the name Limoge is printed in gold in the bottom left-hand corner of it, bottom right-hand corner of it. It's a little traditional European porcelain, the painted couple. He is playing well, damn, he looks like he's playing a guitar. I don't really say a lute, but that's really long. So I'm not sure what a long lute is called. But, so he's courting, and she's holding weeds. I don't know. I'm assuming flowers. It's a hand mirror. So it's a very small, very diminutive, basically a purse-sized hand mirror. I don't know if it would have originally come in a case because I do think this is something designed to be carried as opposed to like a dresser piece. But this looked great on the set of She Loves Me. And like I said, it didn't break. So it is a signed Limoge piece. I just don't know anything more about that. But it's got the gold mounting all around it to hold the porcelain in place. The porcelain itself is in perfect condition, no chips, no cracks. There's not even any crazing on it. And the mirror is in perfect condition, no chips, no cracks there either. So you can pick it up for $5. So $5 for the little mirror by giving me number 48. So Limoge mirror, number 48 for $5. All right. Moving. Okay, so Vinny's sale. Cindy's thrifting again. That was the fourth person that I forgot. I apologize, Cindy, if you're watching. I mean no offense that I forgot you. So thank you. So Vinny's sale. So that is August 29th, probably early evening. I don't know the time on that one, but that'll be another group sale. Like I said, a lot of stuff to be able to catch on to. So the turtle sculpture went to number 39. The turtle sculpture went to Suzanne McLean. So thank you, Suzanne, for picking that up. And then Okay, and there's a question that came in from Susan Jackson. And this is, if my moderators are on, if you see questions like this, help people like Susan, thank you first for coming to hear Susan. If you are seeing the numbers scrolling across the screen before you hear me say them out loud, you are buffering. You may not think you're buffering, but that's basically the definition of it. So at some point, we got to disconnect. So one of the best things you can do for that, and you can just do this all the time, is if you see something you're not interested in, just refresh your screen and it'll catch that up. It'll basically put the video and the sound more in sync to the current time. Because it only takes, a couple seconds of buffering here and there before you get to a point where you have no fighting chance of getting the item because other people are refreshing their feeds. And so they're going to hear me say that number and they're going to claim it really fast. So yeah, just like the Thrifting Adventure says, refresh is key. Fast internet is definitely your friend, but you can overcome slower internet by just refreshing as often as you possibly can. And the best time to do it is just say, I show something you don't like, just refresh then, because then you're not going to miss anything. Because as you can tell, I'm a talker and it takes me a while to get through an item. So, all right, moving on to another piece. This is something you've seen if you've been in my sales before, you'll have seen pop up on occasion because I actually was successful in picking up a fairly large group of it. And I'm trying to sell some in my booth. I'm selling some online, and some of them I'm putting into my live sales. And so this is something that, based on what people have asked about before, this is a piece that I think people will like. They are a pair of butter pats. Now, these particular butter pats are not marked on the back, but if you've watched any of my live sales before, or you've looked at my Instagram, you've looked at my Etsy shop, you've visited my shop, you will see this is the copper luster. It's the tea leaf pattern. And this pattern that's made by multiple people, this is the Alfred Meekin ironstone version. So these are not marked, but every other piece I have, including the coffee pot, the sugar, the creamer, the turkey platter, everything are marked as Alfred Meekin. Just these are a little bit smaller, so these didn't get marked, or because they were sold as a set, whatever the reason. They are numbered for whatever reason. They are numbered that one says 13 and one says 9. I don't know what that means. Because I can't imagine they would have numbered. I can't imagine there would be more than 13 butter pats in a service. 12 is usually the tops if you sell a service. So those may have nothing more than maybe that's the painter's number. But it's Alfred Meekin, ironstone, British English to ironstone. These are in great condition. There are no chips, no cracks, no issues. It's a nice looking pair of butter pats. You can have them for $6. So $6 for the pair of butter pats by giving me number 41. Number 41. Pair of butter pats, they get $6. All right, checking the chat again. So number 48, the Limoge mirror went to THMercantile, a brand new online reseller, formerly not under any sort of business name, and she grabbed the Mercantile because mercantiles of the world unite. There is no H, and we will teach the world to spell mercantile. So Blue Feather Mercantile is here, S Mercantile is here, BMOS Mercantile is here, and Trusty Huckster Mercantile is here. So we've got the power of 4, and we will take over, whatever. So S Mercantile, welcome, congratulations, and congratulations on getting number 48, the Limoge mirror. And the butter pats, the Meekin Ironstone butter pats, number 41, went to Oh My Vintage. So congratulations to both of you for picking those up. Okay. There's a couple items that I'm having in here that kind of starts challenging the concept that I don't like to have things with damage. But as Vinny and I talked about in one of his chats, it's not that I don't think, again, things that have damage can't be sold or shouldn't be sold. It's that they need to be disclosed. And if it's something that, you can find hundreds of them, maybe it doesn't need to get sold through Etsy or even a live sale. But if it's something unique or a little bit different, hey, that damage can give it some patina. And that is the next item. So this is giving it a little bit of character. Let's just picture that this is a child's food bowl, that vintage bowl that has the little cap on here to take off so you can pour hot water into the dish. Well, in the good days, you'd be able to do that. Because let's just say Junior got mad and threw it across the room. And so there is a fairly serious dent along one side. And then unfortunately, there is a crack in both the frame that would be holding the hot water and a hairline, which when you run your fingernails across it, there's only a couple places you can feel it, a hairline right along the edge. So this is definitely falling into the, it has character, it has a patina, it's had a life, it's been rode hard, put away wet, however you want to look at it. It does have some damage, but it's a very cool piece. I've had some of these before, but not with this frame, and never. And one of the times I had it before, I didn't have the little cap. So there is some value still to these pieces, simply because you don't find them. They don't survive. So, but I tried to, again, price it accordingly. So the food dish, the ceramic or maybe porcelain food dish with the damaged surround is $7. So $7 for this food dish by giving me number 8. Number 8. $7 for the little food dish. All right. Another item that I did a lot of research on, and that's one of the things I really love to do, whether I'm selling it online, selling it any place, even for a live sale, I still want to do some of the research and figure things out. And so this was a piece that I picked up. I want to say this was actually, pretty sure this was picked up on the way down to Kentucky when I was visiting George, the Antique Nomad, Fatbird Finds, Thrifter Junker, Vintage Hunter, and Jeffrey at Real Nifty Vintage. This was not in Kentucky, but it was on the way. And it was just, I just thought it was a cool little dish. It's not quite a coaster. It's a little large to be a coaster. So it's really more designed as a small dish. There's no way to hang it. So I don't think it's necessarily a wall hanging, though it could be. But what I liked about it when I picked it up is it's a piece of terracotta pottery. And you see it has with no disrespect, the Jesus fish on there. And then if you look really, really carefully, you can see it is signed. And what I found is it is signed by Earthen Vessel. And the way they do it, it's earth with an apostrophe and the letter N. So it's Earthen Vessel Pottery, and they are based in Bayshore, New York. And so it's a name that I wasn't familiar with, but it also has the artist's signature. You can kind of make it out there underneath they also, at one time they were in Cincinnati, Ohio. So this is dated 1990. So this is a vintage piece. They are now in New York, but this is the signature of the potter that is on the pieces from that era. So it took me forever to figure this out, because that was not an easy signature or an easy name to figure out. And yet it's one of those cases, once I knew what it was, I'm like, well, of course that's what it says. Why didn't I know that originally? So anyway, it is a very cool dish, 1990, signed artist pottery. Whether you consider it from Bayshore, New York, if you want it, which is still in operation, but this is the one dated from Cincinnati, Ohio. It is available. Take my little cheat sheet off. It is available for $8. So the little sunflower dish is $8, and you can have it by giving me number 33. Number 33, $8 for the little sunflower glazed terracotta dish. All right. Throwing in a textile. I had a Christmas in July sale several weeks back, and I had way more Christmas stuff than I could possibly have sold in that sale. And so some of it's on Etsy, some will be going into my booth, but I figured I'd throw in some of these pieces online, particularly the ones that are easier to ship, because sorry, I'm getting a little tired of shipping ridiculously fragile glass to Karen Dondelinger in California. Love you, Karen. But this is very easily shippable. It's a table runner. And again, if you watch my shows in the past, you know I tend to get obsessed with whether something is machine made or handmade, and a lot of times you simply can't tell. So this one, I am pretty sure, is handmade, because if you look at the back, it is fairly sloppy. And I don't mean that pejoratively. It's just, there's a lot of carrying of the stitches. There's a lot of, it's not uniform. This is something I think was probably bought as a kit at some point, because the fabric itself, it's not a linen. It's not anything like super like Irish linen or anything. The holes are there. I mean, this is designed to be a cross-stitched table runner with this design. So it's a nice looking smallish table runner. So you don't need a huge space to be able to display it. It has the candles on either side. It's got the bell, and then kind of just a nice attractive cross form in the middle. But because of those candles, I would say those are poinsettias. This is falling into the Christmas category. So we missed Christmas in July. We've missed, hopefully you haven't missed because they're still up. If you haven't watched, if you don't follow Nesting Haven, she did a great Thriftmas in July. And there are some fantastic videos there. And I think I followed like 3 or 4 new people just from watching that playlist. So definitely check that out. So this is Thriftmas in July, Christmas in July, happening in August because I'm late. You can have it for $7. $7 for the Christmas table runner by giving me number 37. So 37 for the red Christmas runner, $7. All right, back up in the chat a little bit. So number 33, the blue glazed terracotta dish went to Brooke Leagan. So thank you very much for picking that up, Brooke. All right. As I mentioned, I did the jewelry sale. Had a lot of trinket dishes, so many they couldn't all go into that sale. So this is one that I did have, I just didn't include it. And partly was because I hadn't done the research on it that I wanted to do. So I held it off until I could do the research, and I did. So this is a fairly decent sized, as trinket dishes go. Could be maybe the size of a powder box, but because it's so shallow at the bottom, I don't think this is designed for powder. I do think this is just a generic, a general like trinket dish, maybe jewelry dish. It has a nice detail on the edge. It's got the nice scalloped trim all the way around on the outside. Very nicely detailed. It's got a raised design in the porcelain itself, and then the painted designs after that. But what I like to note on this, because I just think this is ridiculously quaint, this was purchased from or given as a gift or somehow with a note that's a Tupperware label. And I just thought that was too much fun. So somebody adhered a Tupperware label into the lid of the trinket dish that says brought back from Germany by Shirley's friend, Barb Cornell. So Shirley had a friend. Her name was Barb. And then off to the side, I can't make it out, but off to the side, there's a word. And then under the word says 1950s. So I don't think this was a label that was applied at the time it was brought home. I think this is a case that maybe somebody was getting older and they were trying to remember things, so they marked it. And I just unfortunately can't read what it says above that. It looks like it says Mentolle, Mentolle. So again, I don't know if that's somebody's name or if that's where a town that they went to, German student. So anyway, so there's this cool little Japanese or Tupperware label, and then the box itself is marked. Now I do like European porcelain. This was one I'm not familiar with. Zen or Z-Z-Z-E-H, and then Scherzer, S-C-H-E-R-Z-E-R. It's Bavarian, but marked in Germany. So we know in theory, based on the Tupperware, and if it says it on Tupperware, it must be true. So it says this came back in the 50s. So I did a little bit of digging, and it turns out that mark was used by the those people, was used from 1949 to 1991. They've been around for much longer than that, but that's when they used that mark. So from 1949 to 1991. So assuming this was brought home in the 50s, this was probably a contemporary piece at the time Barb brought it home. So I just think this is cool. So early 50s, probably porcelain dish from these people, and you can have it as perfect condition, no chips, no cracks. You can have it for $12. $12 for the trinket dish by giving me number 21. $12 for 1950s German porcelain. All right. I also did a vintage kitchen sale, and the vintage kitchen sale was very popular. Had a lot of new people show up at that one, and I just had too many items. So again, something got pushed off, And part of it was because I wanted to do a little bit more research, and my research kind of failed me. So this is just a very simple, it's a vintage cutter. When it was sold to me, I was told it was a vintage tomato cutter, and that was why it was so wide. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Egg cutters, I don't think are normally that wide. So, oh, yeah, it must be tomato cutter. Well, I don't think it's a tomato cutter, because unless their tomatoes are looking really long and narrow, it wouldn't fit there. So I honestly don't know what this is for. If this is like maybe you cut 2 eggs at a time, I mean, because there ain't no egg that's going to be that long. So if anyone knows, I would be curious if you've got any information on what type of cutter this is. It doesn't really matter, because I'm going to be selling it anyway, and I'm only selling it for $4. But I'd kind of like to know, because if I run across it again, I'd like to know if this is a specific type of. So a butter cutter, ooh, that actually makes a lot of sense, because that probably is, even here to here, that probably is the width of a stick of butter. Now, I've never heard of a butter cutter, but I guess if you want to have those little pats of butter for the butter pats that that Kim just purchased, hey Kim, buy a butter cutter. But anyway, it's only $4. So $4 for the little vintage butter cutter. $4, giving me number 54. $4 butter cutter, which is just kind of fun to say. All right, and Nate, you asked if I had any Jasperware. Can you put the word Jasperware in quotes? And I'll say yes. So, because what I have is a Jasperware lookalike, but it's not Jasperware. So this falls in the category of, at the time I bought it, I knew it wasn't. I bought 2 pieces that were not Jasperware. One I thought was Jasperware from Wedgwood. This one I knew was not. So I bought it anyway because the price was good, and I'm passing on a good price to you guys as well. It's a great looking piece. It's in great condition. It is made just like the Jasperware. So it's got that great blue background. Now this is showing up a little bit brighter on screen than it actually is. It actually, to me, it looks a little bit darker in real, like to my eyes. It's still the Wedgwood blue. It's pulling a lot of light off of this that makes it look a little bit lighter. So it's just a slightly darker. It is a wall pocket, but it's got the detail on the back, which I just think is great, because so many times the wall pocket, the back doesn't even show up, because you figure you hang that and you can put something in front of it. So this was an extremely well-made piece. Unfortunately, it's not marked Wedgwood. So I don't know who made it. There is an impressed mark of just some numbers, but I Googled it, or I put it into WorthPoint, Google, tried to find this piece, Google Lens. Unfortunately, I failed. So this is a Jasperware lookalike. So do the air quotes, of a wall pocket in a traditional Jasperware design. Probably falls in the probably meant to fool the buyer. I knew it wasn't knew it wasn't Wedgwood, but it's still a great piece, and I'm still passing it on at a great price. So $12 for the Jasperware lookalike wall pocket, $12 for you give me number 43. 43, $12 for the blue and white wall pocket. Okay, falling behind the chat. All right, so the Bavarian trinket box, number 21, went to THMercantile. So congratulations. And Crafty Jackie says something is Huck toweling.
The red runner.
Oh, the red runner. So, is that a brand? Is Huck a brand, or is that like a style? All right, that's good to know, because I come across textiles a lot. And for those, I may have mentioned this before, Huckster Helper's mother and I used to run a quilt shop. So for 10 years, I actually knew how to quilt. I know quite a bit about fabrics. Needlework is not something that I ever quite got exposed to. So that's definitely something that still kind of looking for. So Huck toweling, I will try to remember that. All right. And number 43, the Jasperware wall plaque went to Michael Todd. So congratulations, Michael Todd. And I'm all for the butter cutter turning into a Twinkie cutter. I think the world needs more Twinkie cutters. Okay, let's move into a piece of glass. This, I think there will be a lot of fans for, and I hope you like it. This is and a single mid-century modern candlestick holder. It's got the 3 feet on it, plus the little base piece underneath the center. It is, I'm going to say it is amberina. Unfortunately, you can kind of see it a little bit as it shows up against my shirt. You can see where the red is pretty much the ruby red color through the entire bowl until it gets to that piece down in the center where the amber glass kicks in. So it's I feel a beautiful piece. It is just a lone candlestick holder. I believe this style is Viking, but that is an area that I'm still trying to learn about. So if anyone knows, but I believe it's Viking because of those 3 feet, but I could be wrong. So I'm not selling it under a brand, but I do believe it's considered amberina because of the coloration. Passing that on for $8. So $8 for the little mid-century modern candlestick holder. Perfect condition, no chips, no cracks. $8 by giving me number 15. Number 15, $8 for the footed candlestick holder. All right. This was an item that if you saw, I did a haul video a while ago. And if you're new to my channel, you may not realize I'm slightly obsessed with coasters, and everyone who watches my shows seems it necessary to point that out. But I'll own that. I like coasters. I grew up with coasters. Didn't realize I was the only one that grew up with coasters. But I ended up going to an auction and actually literally got an entire box lot of just coasters. I was like a kid in a candy store. So I did a haul video on a whole bunch of them. A lot of them ended up just kind of being loose individual items that I'm hoping, trying to figure out the best place to sell them because I have so many. Figured to bring one of them on here. So this is one that I think a lot of people are familiar with the look and have sold many Delft pieces on here before. That I think there are people that view my sales that like Delft. It is a Delft coaster. It doesn't have particular high amount of age to it because it's got that back stamp that is actually still relatively modern. That this is probably around 10 years old. I don't think they're still using it, but this is not a truly like old vintage piece. It is simply a very nice piece with the flat bottom, flat back. It does not have the holes to hang it. So it is truly a coaster, and you can have the Delft coaster for $5. So $5 for the little Delft coaster. Give me number 12. Number 12, $5 for the little Delft coaster. All right. We're going to move into something very different. This is one of the cases where it was fun, lowercase f, to do the research because it was really, really frustrating. But it was one of these cases that when I found the item, it actually was also in a box lot of a auction piece that I picked up. It's this cup. Okay, so right off the bat, there's this weird thing hanging off of it that, to be perfectly honest, I almost removed because I didn't think it was original to it. Very glad I didn't. What this is, it is a museum, kind of like a museum shop thing, a museum reproduction of a ancient a cup found on the island of, it's called the Cup of Vafio, V as in Victor, Aphio. And it's in the Greek Museum. It was found, the original cup was found in the tomb in Laconia near Sparta. They then made these replicas. So you think about, you go to the Art Institute and they have like really high-end coasters and art and glassware and all these different things that are trying to reproduce pieces. And if you buy them at the Art Institute, you know how expensive they are. Well, this is gold-plated copper. So this falls in the expensive museum reproduction category. Unfortunately, a lot of these are already available for sale online. They sell very nicely. They sell for a very good dollar. But there's a lot of them. And so it's something special. It doesn't really fit alongside everything else that I have. So I just thought it was kind of a fun piece to show. So if this ends up being, it's an actual ancient Greek coin. So this is actually the legitimate piece. And this is how the museum sold them. So they found these little ancient Greek coins. So all the examples you find online, they're all slightly different, but they are wired onto it because the coin itself was hollow. And so it was perfect to be able to, mount onto the cup. But it's got this repoussé design of, people walking bulls, there's floral, it's just kind of a farm life, motif. But it was really well made, because if you look, again, that's repoussé to the outside. So you should see the hammered marks on the middle or on the inside. But instead what they did was they actually put another sheet of metal on the inside and then sealed the top. So there's a crease where this inner liner folds over and holds the outside. So you basically, you have an actual watertight cup to use as a cup. Now, I don't know if this was ever designed to be used as a cup, but the original was, and you can have a museum replica of your own for $20 by giving me number 53. $20 for the Museum of Athens Cup of Vafio reproduction, gold plated copper. All right. I think I've got Karen Dondelinger I saw was on. A couple other people. Got Michelle from Mermaid Cove, so she's California. Maria, California thrifter, obviously from California. I've got a piece of California pottery. So this is probably really going down Karen's street, that this is one of those painted ladies that was created by Counterpoint Pottery. And there's a foil label, an original foil label on the bottom that says made in Japan. So it's a Japan-made piece of pottery. And it has San Francisco, but then it also has the zip code. So by definition, this post dates 1963. So this is coming from the late 60s. Based on the color scheme of this, I would also put it maybe into the 70s. I could see this hanging on the wall of Three's Company. It's in great condition. It is another wall pocket. I don't know why I actually have another wall pocket. I don't know why I suddenly have so many wall pockets. So you got the hole in that one. So again, this one, like opposite of the one I said before, there's no design on the back, because once you hang this, you put something in it, you're not going to see the back. So this one is a much more simplified form. There are some grease marks on the back, which may be from later, but I was afraid to remove them because I don't know. I'm personally not familiar with Counterpoint. So I had not seen this style of pottery before, but I liked that it was labeled. It was really easy to do research. They did a lot of pieces like this. And because they were based in San Francisco, they actually did, I don't know if these are souvenir pieces, but they had one for the cable car. They had one that was the Golden Gate Bridge. So they did a lot of like really popular shapes that all happen to be based around San Francisco. So this is just a really cool piece of art pottery, still with the original label, made in Japan, really nice quality, not super heavy. We're under a pound still, but we've got a decent amount, some decent weight to it. Probably with packaging, this will probably land around a pound, but you can have it for $12. So $12 for the Counterpoint Pottery painted lady, $12 by giving me number 17. $12 for the wall pocket painted lady. All right. And yes, you could put feathers in it, Crafty Jackie. All right. Number 53, the reproduction cup museum cup went to Laura Bemos. So thank you, Bemos Mercantile, for picking that up. Number 12, the Delft coaster went to D at Thrill of the Thrift. Thank you very much for picking that up. And the Amberina candlestick holder went to Suzanne McLean. That was number 15. Went to Suzanne McLean. So congratulations. And I'm glad your internet is working better at the softball game tonight than it has in the past. All right, jump into a piece of wood. So this is an item that is going to show a little bit of age, or a little bit of wear, but I think this is where the patina actually does add to its appearance. It is a little shaker style box with a painted floral motif on top. This, I do not believe, has the age of a traditional shaker storage box or Amish storage box. And there are staples being used to hold the banded wood together. So you're not talking about weird dovetail joints or anything like that. But it is nicely made. So it has the painted wood on the top, and then the band work that goes all the way around, and then it's held together by the two staples on this side. And then the same thing with the bottom. The bottom is a solid piece with the band work all the way around, and then where it met, 3 staples to hold the whole thing together, and then another one on the back end just to hold the tail that's formed from the inside. So I don't know the age on this. There is no label. There is some wear around the edges where some of the paint is lost. And if you look really closely, there's a little bit of discoloration that I think might be moisture damage, but it's also possible that's the original varnish that just didn't get applied properly. So that part I'm not really sure. This is not an area that I'm particularly familiar with, but I thought it was just a really cool piece. I thought it was super attractive. Even this, again, with a case that even though it has some damage, I think that just adds to its attractiveness. And I priced it, as accordingly for $6. So it's a $6 little band box, $6. You can get it by giving me number 22. Number 22, $6 is a little floral wooden box. All right, number 17, the San Francisco wall pocket went to Stacy Brinkley. So it's heading to the other coast. So it's not going back to California. All right. Going into some, I'm not going to say traditional porcelain. I don't carry these very often, but it's Paddington Bear. I couldn't say no. So I have a pair of Paddington Bear collector's plates. I grew up on collector's plates. I probably could name Norman Rockwell's work because I was surrounded by it as a child. This is, I guess, part of a series. It's definitely part of a collection. They were made by Schmid, and they were manufactured in Japan. This one made in Japan still has the little paper label on it. This one does not. But they're part of the Musician's Dream collection. So we've got Knowing the Score and Perfect Harmony. So you've got the trombone playing Paddington and the cello playing Paddington with a windstorm blowing away his music. They are what they are. These are a little bit smaller than traditional collector's plates. These are probably only about 6 inches across. I forgot my tape measure. So you're probably only about 6 inches across. You can see these are smaller than a traditional Norman Rockwell, 8.5 inch plate. And Huckster Hecklers coming to the rescue. She's got my tape measure. See if I got it right. It is 6.5 inches. So it's a pair. You get 2 Paddington plates from the Musician's Dream collection. And you can have them for $6 for the pair. So $3 a plate. $6 for the pair of Paddington plates. You have them by giving me number 64. 64, $6 for the 2 Paddington plates. Oh, and they are dated. Yeah, Stephanie, you said you loved them in the 80s. These were dated 1982. So I should have said that. So yes, they're dated 1982, but still have the Made in Japan sticker on them. All right, jumping into some more textiles. So this ended up being kind of a little oddball lot that I pulled together because they were just kind of some loan towels. I figured I just put them together and, try and give you guys a good deal. So this is what I believe to be linen tea towel that has been embroidered or stitched on with a house design. This is, again, one that I think is done by hand because you can see that they carried all the stitches. The stitches aren't particularly evenly spaced. What throws me is the green in the grass is very tightly stitched, like almost like it was machine done. So I'm not going to swear that this is machine or hand, but I do believe there's some age to it. It is a nice piece of linen. It has the nice open work down at the bottom. It's a really attractive tea towel. So that's one of them. Then we've got a applique dish towel. So this is kind of like that diaper cloth type material. It has the red striping going down each side. And then it appliqued into the middle are green peppers. They're green, but I'm not exactly sure what vegetable has that shape. This, again, I believe is one that's done by hand because these stitches are they're not uniform at all. So this just appears to be something you can see where the vine is. If this were machine done, this would be far tighter and it would be far more uniform. So again, I think this is just a really cool project that they took maybe a standard towel, The red is not stitched. That's actually in the towel. It's woven into the towel. So that's not an applique. That's just the cloth. So they appliqued the pod people onto that. And then the last one is a printed dishcloth that is fairly long that I kind of wondered if it was a table runner. It's the material of a dishcloth. It's kind of like that diaper material, but its length and it's not particular. It's kind of thin. It's kind of like narrow. It seems to me like it might be a table runner, but it is a cloth-like material. So I just kind of put it into this mix. So I just made the printed cloth, longer towel, the printed cloth with the applique, and then the stitched linen cloth. All of these together is one lot. You have them 3 towels for $11. So all 3 towels, $11. You can get them for giving you number 30. So number 30, $11 for all 3 of those towels. All right, catch up in the chat. Number 22, the wood box with the floral lid went to Terry Ann's Eclectic This and That. So congratulations, Terry Ann, for picking that up. We had a request to see the Huck towel. So this is the red Huck towel. So you look really close. You can see the way the cloth is made. It has the places to do the cross stitch right onto it. Now this is extremely soft and extremely flexible. So this is designed to be a cloth, table runner, not one of those stiffer pieces that needs to be framed or something like that. Like this you can see is it has a lot of movement. It is designed to drape over a table or just run across the table. So it has the candles on one end. You can see the cross stitch of the bell. You can see the detailed work on the white cross form in the middle, then another bell, and then the other 4 candles on the other side. So it's a symmetrical design, again, to be a table runner. So that was number 37. That was $7. So somebody requested to see that again. So 37, $7. That was the Huck toweling. And that is all the textiles that I have, just in case that's what people were looking for. So going back into porcelain, something I know a little bit more about. So this is Otagiri, a name that a lot of us talk about and none of us know how to pronounce. So it's Otagiri, whatever. This is an owl figurine. It's 3 owls on a log. And the log appears to be an oak log because that appears to be an oak leaf with 2 acorns on it. It is not flat to the ground. The branch has an arc to it so that when you sit, it kind of like raises up a little bit. It is still labeled with the Otagiri label on it. So it says Otagiri Japan. So it's the older label, not that foil one that Kelly and Vinny fought about in one of my sales earlier. So this is an Otagiri 3 owls on a branch figurine. You can have the figurine for $9 by giving me number 46. $9, number 46 for the Otagiri owl figurine. All right, number 37, the red table runner, the Huck toweling. So I'm trying to remember that. Went to Karen Dondelinger. So congratulations to Karen. And the number 30, the set of 3 towels went to Barb JM. So the set of 3 towels into Barb JM, that was number 30. So congratulations, Barb, and thank you for picking that up. All right. This is another hive mind question that if you know what this is, I appreciate you putting your information into the chat because we don't know what this is. It is made in Greece. It's marked that. It's actually made in Rhodes. So it has an incised mark in the bottom. It may be nothing more than a fan-shaped vase, but it really wouldn't hold all that much. There is a place that if you were to put some water, there's a little well down there at the bottom. But in general, other than, as everyone is rolling off right now, a taco holder. Okay, I like Michelle Murray code because I'm like, it's Greek. So, okay, euro holder. Although that would be the thinnest euro I've ever had. So I don't know what this is. I just think it's cool. So it's terracotta. It has a high gloss glaze going around the base. You can kind of see it's really like a reddish brown on there. It's looking like a dark brown, almost a purple. It's really like a reddish brown. So that's all high glaze. So then everything that you see that's brown is the same. Is like the bisque, like the rough unglazed bisque finish that Misty from Thrifter Junker Vintage Hunter doesn't like. So all of the brown on the outside is the bisque finish. All of the white is a high gloss glaze again, but just kind of like the little individual dots. And then on the inside, it is glazed. So it does make me feel like this could be getting wet. Like this could have either a food product or more likely flowers in there. But I've seen fan-shaped vases before, but even at some point, a fan-shaped vase is deep enough to hold water. So I don't know what this is, but I thought it was very cool. I don't know the flora and fauna of Greece, so I don't know what that animal is supposed to be. It kind of looks like a gazelle, but I don't think they have them in Greece. It's not a reindeer, I don't think. I don't know, but you can see there's the little blue flowers painted on there. It's just very nicely done. Probably a souvenir piece because of the way it's marked on the bottom, but I don't really care. It's a very cool piece that you can have for $8. So the little fan-shaped vase, $8, and it is number 35. So $8, number 35 for the unknown. I'm going to stick with flowers, but Euro holder, taco holder, napkin holder, which actually could hold napkins, although they'd have to be short napkins. $8, number 35. All right. I mentioned I had another wall pocket. Well, technically I have two wall pockets. This one's the last one that's a true wall pocket. The other one's kind of a wall pocket. All right, so this is one I'm a little disappointed. I tried to do some research on this, and unfortunately I came up completely blank. So, and I'm concerned you're not gonna be able to see this. So this is another wall pocket, but this one is glass, which I do not come across these very often. So it has the flat back on the back. It has the hole to be able to hang it. So it is a wall pocket. Let's see if we can get the design to show. It is a bird. And I think it is a kingfisher. So it looks like it's posing with its back to the viewer. So you can kind of see that there's a branch there at the very, very bottom that he's kind of standing on. But then the feathers kind of overlap, and they're almost like a heart shape on his back. And then really, like, we're kind of seeing the back of his head and maybe a little bit of a profile. So the only thing I saw that had a beak that kind of looked like that kind of was that size, was a kingfisher. But I don't know if anybody has, any other suggestions, and it may not really matter, but it is a very cool design. But you can see how hard it is for me to hold it to show it. It is in the glass. Like, there's no other color. This is just very subtle design. Now the glass is fairly thick. So my guess was this isn't necessarily particularly old. But again, in this case, I don't think it matters. This is just a really cool piece that, I'll be perfectly honest, I almost kept. So it is molded. Where's the seam? There it is. It is a molded piece of glass. You can kind of see right there. There's a seam that runs down the side. So it's not a blown piece. But they did do a nice job at the very bottom. They kind of polished off the seam a little bit. You can still feel it going down the sides, but you don't see where it all meets. So they did do some sort of a polishing there, so that it's a really, really cool. It's a great cobalt blue. It's just a blue that I don't come across very often, and it is really pretty. And it's only $11 because I don't know what it is. I think it's cool, so I'm selling it for its decorative purpose. $11. You can have it by giving me number 65. So $11.65 for the kingfisher slash bird. And no, Vinny, I do not think you see a chippy whippy. If you thought you did, I don't know where it was, because it is in perfect condition, even at the hole. Yeah, that's just where the hole was made, the glass pressed out, but it's not a chip. So $65, $11, great condition. Don't let Vinny tell you otherwise. All right. Kind of mentioned before, a couple of the pieces I had. Coasters are a big deal. I don't tend to have a lot, but for some reason I did have a couple coasters land into this batch of sales. This one was one that I hesitated to get because it falls in the category of some brands and some products just don't get a great, they get a bad rap. And one of them is Avon. And I'm just gonna be 100% honest. I don't necessarily collect Avon. I don't go after Avon, but there has been multiple times that I am in a thrift store, I'm in an estate sale, I'm someplace where I'm picking something up and I see something, ooh, that looks really cool. And I pick it up and I'm like, I'm gonna buy this if it's a reasonable price. And then I look at it and it's Avon. They do some good quality stuff. It may not be to everyone's, design. And I think, maybe people think of the perfume bottles and cologne bottles. I don't know why it doesn't do particularly well. But when I saw these, again, I like coasters. And these coasters are gorgeous. They are dated 1979. So you've got this great little boho, the natural, the colors and the browns, and a little bit of pink, a little bit of orange, a little bit of green. It's got the gold trim. They are very well marked on the back. They are produced in Brazil, but you can see right at the very bottom, copyright Avon Products, 1979. So there's no question, these are vintage. They just happen to be Avon. I love them, and I'm hoping I can find a good home here. And to do so, I gave them a good price. So you can get both of them. So you get the pair of the Avon butterfly coasters for $7. So $7 for two porcelain coasters from 1979. They give me number 18. So number 18, $7 for the pair of Avon coasters. I fell behind the chat a little bit. Sorry about that. All right, number 65, the blue glass wall pocket goes to Dawn Schankweiler from Just One More Dachshund Rescue. So she's adding a bird into her mix. So congratulations, Dawn. Number 35, the taco dish from Greece went to Auntie Christie. So congratulations for that. And number 46, the three owls, Otagiri three owls on a branch, went to Kim at Oh My Vintage. And congratulations on all of those. And the Avon coaster pair, number 18, also went to Auntie Christie. So congratulations, Auntie Christie. All right. So evidently there's a conversation about Vinny talking about Avon as well. I was caught one time. I did Jeffrey from Real Nifty Vintage busted me because I referred to it. I wasn't trying to be derogatory. I just referred to something as a piece of Avon, like that was its own thing. So don't mean it that way. But that was early on, and it's one of those cases. How do you mark things off? So okay, next piece is not a coaster. It has the general shape of a coaster. This is one of those cases where, you get these life lessons over time and you're like, you should learn from this. And one of the things I need to learn is I need to stop putting things into storage and get things listed or get things sold, because when they sit in the boxes, they get damaged. So this is a piece that I was so excited when I bought it. It's this great, it's not marked, but just from the looks of this, I would say this is a German or Bavarian or Austrian porcelain dish that was in absolutely perfect condition when I bought it. And then over time, you can see the very top of that one rose leaf. There's a little nick in the middle of it. That is the sole damage on this whole piece. Now you can see the rest of the leaves are actually still, they're kind of rough anyway. That's just the way it was designed. But in this particular one, that center piece should not be there. And on the underside, there's a little bit of a chip where it had come off. I'm almost positive it wasn't there when I bought it. So when I went to take pictures of it to list it onto Etsy, I found it. So I do try and keep my Etsy as pure as possible, because they're sometimes hard to show damage because it's hard to keep things in scale. I'm like losing my fingernail to try and show like, oh, but it's so tiny. It's just a chippy whippy. Ask Vinny. So instead, I bring it here. So it is an absolutely, it's a beautiful piece. I wanted to say pristine, but unfortunately it's not. But it's a gorgeous piece that you cannot tell. It's just like a Capodimonte piece. They very rarely survive. I hate that fact, but here's the case. So I just dropped the price significantly, and it's only $9. So this little floral porcelain dish, and I will say it's just a dish because those little grooves are not grooves. Like there's no place to hold a cigarette. So I don't think it's an ashtray. It could be because these little pieces here makes me think it was an ashtray. But if you feel them, there's no way for something to sit there. So I do think it's a dish. Anyway, it's $9. So $9 for the floral dish. Give me number 3. $9, number 3. All right. Okay, so this is information in case Dawn, if you did not see, Nicole from Nesting Haven, who knows her stuff, she thinks the blue glass wall pocket was Dugan diamond glass. I am not familiar with Dugan, and I did not come across that when I was looking for it. So, but I didn't specifically look for Dugan. So maybe if you do a little bit of Googling, it's almost impossible to do Google Lens because of the way that image was. But if you find out, I would love to know more because I think that's a beautiful piece. And I will always, if I ever see another one, I will pick it up regardless if I know what it is. So the German floral dish went to THMercantile. Thank you very much for picking that up. All right, fun piece, something totally different. It's a gnome. Oh, it's the back of a gnome. It's a gnome. It's a stuffed gnome. It's a stuffed gnome that's dated 1979, right on the bottom. So it's got the gnome's copyright 1979 and manufactured by UNIEBOEK. Probably would help if I wasn't holding it upside down. And Unibach BV. And after some digging around, BV is in the Netherlands. So this is made in the Netherlands. So a female gnome made in the Netherlands. She's knitting. She has no protruding limbs, so she's just been sewn into a solid piece. There is a little mouse with the ball of yarn down at the bottom. Pretty sure it's a mouse. Could be a very weird looking dog, but I'm pretty sure it's a mouse. Really big mouse if that ball of yarn has any size to it, but regardless, I guess she is a gnome. But it has the original hang tag. So it's a 1979 stuffed gnome with the original hang tag. And the original hang tag tells a story. And I will not read you the story, but it has a little gift tag in the front. And so you can put 2, and it says, it's a gnome fact. And then you put in something punny there, and then the from. And then there is also, like I said, there's like a little storybook that talks about gnomes and has little pictures. Now, it's all in English, so it was manufactured in the Netherlands, but it was clearly for the US market. And it says that on the tag, it doesn't say where it was manufactured, but it says contents are all new material. And this is a type of tag I've never seen before. So if you guys have seen this type of thing in fabrics, because again, I don't do a lot in textiles, contents, all new materials. So then the Pennsylvania 463. So by 1979, we had 5-digit zip codes, which they list for New York and Ohio. I don't know what Penn 463 means. So I don't know if that's their phone number. Like, was that the days where there was an old, like you used their name for the phone number? So I'm not really sure. But anyway, it's a stuffed gnome. I think it's very cool. Dated 1979, right on the bottom. It's in great condition. She's $8. $8 for the stuffed gnome. You have it by giving me number 5. Number 5, $8 for the stuffed gnome. All right. We had gnomes. Now we have gummy bears. All right. We have gummy bears that are not very old. So this is a piece that I don't remember where I picked this one up, but it's a double ring gummy bear ring. It's probably only like 10, 15 years old, 5, 10. I have no idea. There's no marks on it. It doesn't say who made it. It's one of those expandable rings. So like there's the little elastic in the ring itself. So we're not talking about the highest quality. I mean, this may have been a Claire's piece for all I know. It's just very cool, and it's in great condition. The strings are not broken out, so the elastic still works, and all of the rhinestone eyes and all of the gold around the necks and the edges are still in place. So it's just this cool little Cool little, oh wait, oh, that's right, Stephanie, you collect gnomes. I forgot that. Sorry, Stephanie. Should have just offered it to you. But anyway, so you get the little gummy bears. Check out, Stephanie actually has a video of her gnomes in George's Show Off Your Bunker challenge. Check out her gnomes. So, okay, gummy bear ring. It's one of those double rings. I use 2 fingers to wear it, so it's like brass knuckle gummies. So it's $4. $4 for the brass knuckle gummy ring. 55. Number 55 for the brass knuckle gummy ring. Okay. Once upon a time, I started buying for my resale business. If you're new to my channel, you may not know this is a side hustle for me. It's a side hustle. It takes a lot of time, but I do have a full-time job. Knock wood, gratefully. But when I first started in the fall, I was doing a lot of sourcing and then less listing and less because as I started buying these great things, I found it was hard to ship through Etsy. Sometimes things weren't old enough for the Etsy rules, or like it was a really cool piece and I could put it at a really good price, but there were like 80 of them already online. And so there was no market to be able to sell them. So a lot of things just kind of sat in boxes. And this is where these two fall from. These are extremely commonplace. These are a pair of reticulated, pierced porcelain fruit plates. So you've got the one with the pears and the grapes, and the other one with the, I guess, apples, and I guess those could be strawberries. I guess those are strawberries. I thought they were raspberries, but they kind of have seeds on them. But I think the ones in the upper corner are more like raspberries. But anyway, so they're fruit plates. These particular ones are not marked. At the time I picked them up, I really didn't think much of that. I'm like, oh no, they're cool plates. And they are cool plates. There's just not a huge market for these. And for people that do want them, there's a lot of competition for them. So I'm just basically selling them for probably around what I paid for them. They're in perfect condition. There's no chips, there's no cracks, and I'm selling the pair for $5. So $5 for the pair, and you can see there's a little bit of a luster in the paint. But they're unmarked manufacturers. So $5 for the pair of the fruit plates by giving me number 52. 52, $5 for the pair of porcelain plates. All right, I mentioned earlier that I had shown all my wall pockets, but I had a kind of a pseudo wall pocket. So here's my pseudo wall pocket. For those of you who have been on my sale before, I think you might have seen a sister piece to this, but they were not purchased at the same time. I think it's just they're of their era. So I had a pop bottle opener with this same rooster on it. And it had the little pop bottle thing on there. And you popped it off. There was a little tray in the bottom, and they fell into the tray. And then the bottom slid out, and you could empty all the pop bottles. This one is the matchstick holder. So you've got those old fashioned, the big boxes of matches, the really thick boxes of matches. You would slide the entire box in there. Slide it all the way down. And so the matches would come out at the bottom. You'd put the striker side facing this side because this is open here. So you could actually strike your match against the little striker pad on the box. And it's just a kitchen. It's a kitchen rooster. So it's just another piece of wood kitsch for a 1970s kitchen with your kitchen rooster that would hold your matches. So if you had to light your stove, whatever the case, it's just a cool little decorative piece right now. So it's all wood. It's great condition. The rooster is in great condition. He's $9. So $9 for the little matchbox rooster. But give me number 31. Number 31, $9 for the wooden matchbox holder. All right, backing up a little bit. So number 3, the German floral dish went to THMercantile. I think I might have said that one. Number 5, the gnome went to Mystique Antiques. And for the fruit plates, I'm going to assume I would not make them food safe. They have the hole on the back that they are designed for hanging. So even when they were made probably in the 50s, they probably weren't food safe then either. I think those really are kitchen decor. And there's so many holes pierced around the outside. The usable, portion of the plate is actually going to be pretty small. So no, I would not, anything I sell, I wouldn't put in your mouth. If you choose to do so, that's fine, but I'm not taking any liability for that. So for the question of the food safe plates, I'm going to go with no, but you be you. Do what you want to do. All right, number 31, the wood kitchen matchbox went to Terry Ann's Eclectic. So thank you very much. All right, totally oddball piece. Just showed you a piece of wood. Going to show you another piece of wood. This one I picked up and was 100% sure I was going to sell it on Etsy because I looked online. It was selling fairly regularly. There was a lot of history on it, and they were selling for really good prices. It is a vintage massage bar, with the rolling massage wheels on it. But what makes this one special, it has the Mercedes emblem on both sides at the front. And then on the very front, it's like its own little license plate. This was sold as a promotion for the MB380 SL. So you have a Mercedes back massager. So if, you want to buy a Mercedes, here's your chance. It's in great condition. It's exactly what those of the 70s and 80s. Those wooden ones. You get somebody really massaging your back. That was like rolling this across to you. It's got a great handle to it. It's in really nice shape, and it's got the great graphics on there. There's just a lot of these online right now. So it's one of those cases that, again, I don't think I'll be competitive selling it online. So I figure I'll just give it a really nice price and sell it here. And hopefully somebody else can pick this one up and get a nice back massage. So the Mercedes back massager is selling here for $15, and you can get it for number 56. $15 for the Mercedes wooden back massager. Yeah, Michael, the wooden feet massagers, those are pretty good as well. All right, going back to the porcelain. Now, this is something that I don't typically pick up because the research on it, this is a little bit harder. Just like the German dish, they tend to always have damage. But I did come across a piece of Capodimonte porcelain that no matter how many times I look at it, I cannot find any broken pieces, any chips, any cracks anywhere on this. And this thing is ridiculously elaborate. So I picked it up because I could get a decent price. I paid up for it, but I paid up for it because I felt it's in great condition, and that's super rare. So I'm not really looking forward to shipping it, but it's very well marked. And so this one, I was able to do quite a bit of research on it. And if you look really closely at the gold foil there on the side, you can see it's actually dated 1974. So I was struggling a little bit to find the dates, but that one has the 1974 date on it. It also has the Visconti Malika, but Maica. So I don't know. I think that might be the Italian for the leaded glaze, like a Majolica. I think they called it the Malika, whatever. Again, this is an area that I don't know enough about. I just know it's in a really great shape. I'm assuming that means that's when it was made. Maybe it's not. Maybe that's an anniversary, and this is much later. But they have the gold foils on there, and they have the original Naples. The original Naples. I can do this. The original Naples N with the crown on it. So this is, it is a genuine piece. And one of the labels actually says Capodimonte right on it. So the Visconti Maica says Capodimonte right there. So it is a candlestick holder or a very shallow vase because it's only a couple of inches tall. So I think it's for a very small, one of those holiday style candles, the really short ones. But it's like a chamber stick. It's got the little handle on there. It's beautiful. It's 2 yellow flowers kind of on the edges, and then the one in the center is the pink one. So it's absolutely beautiful piece, and I'm passing it on for $13. So $13 for the pristine Capodimonte candlestick holder. $13 by giving me number 4. Number 4, $13 for the marked Capodimonte. All right. This is another piece that I believe I showed in the haul video with all the coasters. And I was quite disappointed when I pulled it out to look at it more closely. It's not really a coaster. So it has the shape of a coaster. So it's got this Aztec, it's not chalkware, kind of basically pottery. But what they did, like chalkware, is they've fired the hanger into the pottery, into the clay. So you have a built-in hanger of this Mayan / Aztec / Central American motif that, because of that hanger, cannot be used as a coaster. You would actually have to pry that off and fold it down. So it's a wall hanger. It's kind of a cool wall hanging if you've got that type of motif, or you're looking for that type of a color scheme in the browns. Not what I thought it would be, so I'm going to pass it on for an inexpensive price. So you get it for $4. So $4 for the little Aztec-y wall hanging thing. $4, number 20. Wall hanger, not a coaster. Number 20, $4. All right. Next piece was one of my favorite finds. And this is one that I unfortunately cannot remember who was into dragons, but I have my first piece of a dragon. So I don't think this counts as dragon wear. It says on the back, it is Aito China, hand painted in Japan. And then it has an MCI Japan label. So I'll show you the backing. So it's stamped, the Aito China, hand painted Japan. And then it has the foil label MCI Japan. It has a full luster background. Just look at how that's reflecting all the light. So it's a full luster going all the way around it. And then you can see the details on the dragon, in the water, on his scales. Those are all moriage. So that's all raised slipware, so it feels dimensional as you go across it. I would say there's no question this is a decorative piece. This is a cabinet piece. This is something to display, but it's absolutely gorgeous. And it's the first piece of this type of porcelain that I have had. And you can have it for your own for $15. So $15 for the dragon plate by giving me number 26. $15, number 26 for the dragon plate. All right, I don't know if Fatbird Finds is still on here, but I've got an item that is Fatbird Finds connected. So I mentioned earlier the trip to Kentucky to meet Fatbird Finds, Thrifter, Junker, Vintage Hunter, Real Nifty Vintage, and the Antique Nomad was a huge success. We had absolutely had a blast. And one of my favorite places to visit, and I'm not trying to butter her up, my favorite place to visit while I was down there was actually Lehman's. That is Laura's mother's antique shop in Paducah, Kentucky. So Lehman's Antiques. Just had a great variety. We didn't spend enough time there. I just itching to go back because I just want to see so many more things. But this is one of the items that I did see and one of the items that I absolutely picked up. So it is, according to George, who had to help me out a little bit, he said it's probably 1900s, 1910. There are no markings on it. Unlike a lot of the boxes, this one is not marked to be a candy box. Doesn't mean it wasn't a candy box, but it is not marked to be a candy box. So there's no advertising on this. It is simply individual paintings, which at the time, I'm embarrassed to admit this because I wrote them down and I don't remember where I wrote them, but I did the research. These paintings, it sounds stupid to say these paintings exist, but these paintings are specific paintings by a specific artist who then licensed them to be used in the artwork. I don't know if he licensed them because he was long dead, but they got used for this. And I want to say he was Dutch, but I can't remember. The box I don't think is Dutch. It just happens to have Dutch artwork on it. What was really cool about it, there's definitely some wear on the inside, definitely some oxidation. This is definitely a patina that I think belongs on this type of box. So again, I'm not anti-patina. I just think it belongs in certain pieces. And one of my favorite things about it, and I'm leaving it on here, it says it's for circa 1870s. This is not the layman's tag. I did not pay $90 for this, but they had dubbed it at 1870s. Somebody was selling it at 1870s. George didn't think it was that early. The other ones that I found did not think it was that early either. Regardless, it is a very cool, very old, and very old looking metal box. And you can have it for $15. So $15 for the circa 1900s metal box with the Dutch paintings by giving me number 19. $15, number 19 for the metal box. I see something about false negatives, so I hope that somebody here is not sick. Good luck with that. All right. I had yet another trinket box. I think I might have overdone myself when I did the jewelry sale. I didn't want everything to be jewelry, so I tried to find some other things. And I ended up with so many trinket boxes I couldn't sell them all. So here's another one. So this one again was one that didn't make it to the other sale because I wanted to do some research on it. It was a name that I was not familiar with. It is British porcelain, and you can see right on there, it's Royal Worcester Spode Palissy. So it's Palissy Porcelain, a division of Royal Worcester Spode. So I know the Royal Worcester name, I know the Spode name, I do not know the Palissy name, nor do I know how these three companies relate to each other. So I did a little research, which is what I like to do. So the Palissy porcelain existed from 1958 to 1983. And they were, no, Palissy is older than that. I'm sorry. Royal Worcester bought them in 1958, and they were in existence until 1989. You know, uncovered my paperclip. So they were under Royal Worcester from 1958 to 1989. However, they did not merge their labels to say Royal Worcester and Spode and Palissy until 1976. So this little box dates from between 1976 and 1989. Okay, you may not care, but I had a lot of fun researching that. I'm not 100% sure what the decor is on there. They kind of look like plums. I don't know how plums grow, so I don't know if the plum leaves are that big. But they have a purplish tinge to them, and then there's kind of like currant berries, you know, off to the side, and then a little bit of a floral motif. And then what's really, I think is really pretty is they took that same motif and did it all the way around the box itself. So it's a really cool trinket box, a little bit smaller than the one I showed before. So this definitely is a little bit more diminutive. So I've got a slightly more diminutive price. So, and Stephanie think they're plums too. So Stephanie knows all. So we're going to say they're plums. So we've got a plum decorated Palissy porcelain. That's a tongue twister, for $7. So $7 for the plum Palissy, number 36. Number 36, $7 for the Palissy porcelain trinket box. All right, catch up on the chat. Number 19, the tin box from Fatbird Finds went to Deanna Dill. So Katie, so I'm glad is not COVID. That's good. And Karen, you probably all saw this. I'm late, but Karen thought it was a stationary box, which actually makes a lot of sense through that big tin box. So Deanna can put whatever you want in there because it is now hers. The dragon plate, number 26, went to Jenny X. And number 20, the Aztec wall hanging plaque went to Susan Jackson. And number 4, the Capodimonte candlestick went to Karen Radford. And I think I might have said this one, but number 31, the wood kitchen match safe went to Terry Ann's Eclectic. So I can't remember if I said that or not. I was really far behind. Okay. Next piece, everybody's favorite, Snoopy. We've got a Snoopy mug. It is dated Snoopy. And what I found interesting, and this is actually the way they all are, instead of being CORP, it's COPR. So the Snoopy Corporation is COPR abbreviated, copyrighted 1958, United Features Syndicate. So you've got a great little Snoopy mug, perfect condition, no chips, no cracks. You've got the Snoopy with his little marshmallows in his own mug with the Schultz name along the side. So you've got this great vintage mug. You can have the Snoopy mug from 1958 for $8, and that is number 34. $8, number 34 for the Snoopy mug. We're going to have to pick up a spade a little bit because I realized we're running out of time. All right, the next item is a little bit of an oddball one, but it was fun. So this one I picked up at an estate sale, and I will give credit to or shout out to the person who was running that estate sale. All proceeds from his estate sale were going to diveheart.org. So DIVE, like diving. And what they do is they take individuals with developmental disabilities and physical disabilities and take them scuba diving. I couldn't even imagine something that specialty. So that's diveheart.org. And one of the items that he had was this cool little bunny rabbit. It has a tag on it that's from 1982. And it has a little cottontail that the way it's set up right now, it has roving in it. But I think what it's supposed to be is a cotton ball holder that you could pop out individual cotton balls, and that's the tail. So it looks like that. So you go to grab one, and it has the hole on the bottom to be able to fill it with the cotton balls. This is a short piece. And this one is in pristine condition. So it has the tag on there that says it's from 1982, a handwritten tag. There's no manufacturer's tag on this one. So this one is the bunny rabbit in perfect condition, no chips, no cracks, without the manufacturer's label. He is available for $7. He's a George Wood creation. So he's California Pottery, George Wood creation from Santa Ana, California. So George Wood creation bunny rabbit from 1982. He's $7. $7 for the George Wood bunny rabbit, number 24. $7, number 24 for the perfect condition George Wood cotton ball Peter Cottontail rabbit. All right. Next item I'm picking up is okay. So the cotton ball went to no, never mind. I'm on the wrong screen. All right. So the next item, I'll tell you in a minute why I was rushing it. Next item is something that I haven't really done a lot with, but I think I'm going to be doing an ephemera sale because I had an opportunity to pick up some great piece of ephemera. So this is Nate, Relive Your Childhood or Your Infancy. This is a set of 3, or if there are 3 individual issues of from 1969. So 1969 Nathaniel, we've got your birth year. It's the April, which is the death of Dwight Eisenhower. We've got Nixon's trip to Europe, February 1969. And then we've got a Vietnam to Heal a Nation, January 1969. There are some great vintage ads in these. So like there's the great United Fly the Friendly Skies on the back. You've got an ad for a 1969 Volvo. You know, you got that right in there. This one does, in 1969, some of the ads were in black and white, but they also had them in color, including the 1969 Ford Thunderbird full page ad for the Ford Thunderbird. So these are just examples from one individual, copy of it. There's articles on modern living. There's architecture articles. Will you be among the men who prosper in the 1970s? Atlantic Richfield Company is the kind of a cool blue. So this is a set of 3 issues of Time magazine from 1969, and you get them as a set. So all 3 of them for $9. So $9, so $3 a magazine, $9 for the 3 issues of Time. Forgive me, number 13. Number 13, $9 for the 3 issues of Time. Okay, so number 24 went to Auntie Christie. I wanted to make sure that one got announced. Number 34, the Snoopy mug, went to Jenny X. And number 36, the trinket dish, the Spode trinket dish, went to Triple S Mercantile. Okay, I think I caused that. But the reason I was trying to jump to the next, make sure I had the right person, because I have 2. So what Auntie Christie just bought in pristine condition, I now have one that's not quite pristine condition. So you may have been wondering, how on earth does he know it's a George Wood creation? Because I have another one. And the second one actually says it's a George Wood creation. So this one is the exact same rabbit, the exact same design, with the same type of roving coming out of his butt. And this one has the manufacturer's mark. Unfortunately, it also has damage. So you can see right there on the corner, it may be a manufacturer's flaw, but it's a fairly large one. Now, it's not particularly large when you set it down because it is basically in the rib where it sits on the ground. And if you feel it, you really don't, you kind of feel a little bit of the edges that I don't know if it chipped off and they glued it back on. If they did a really nice job. Or it might be under the glaze and it's just starting to separate, but there is damage to him. So I knocked him down a little bit. So this one, you do get the manufacturer's label, so you know who he is. But because he's got a little bit damaged, he got knocked down only $6. So $6 to get the not perfect condition George Wood Creation Bunny Rabbit, but with that little flaw. He's only $6, and he is number 47. So 47 for the little cotton swab, but with the little flaw on his leg. All right. Next, we've got another mug. This is one I've been researching a little bit. I was going to pick up a Facebook Marketplace find, had a whole set of these, and I had done some research on them, and they sell for quite a bit of money, but she knew they sold for quite a bit of money, so we couldn't come to terms. And then literally like a month later, I found one by itself. I'm going to assume she didn't donate them to the charities. I think it was Goodwill. I'm assuming she didn't sell them to Goodwill, and there's only one left. I think this was just a random one that showed up. So it's another piece of British porcelain. It's from Dunoon, Dunoon, fine bone china. It's called Cottage Paths, and it's by design from Sue Scullard. And so all of her designs have this similar look. It's a very fine, as it says, bone china. It's very fine porcelain, very thin walled. It's got the flared top to it, you can see. And it's got this really cool cottage, little Tudor style cottage, English Tudor cottage with the foxglove flowers and everything that goes all the way around. So the entire design, or the entire mug, is designed with a floral design on the handle. It's an absolutely pristine condition. It's absolutely beautiful. They do sell for good money on Etsy, but as an individual mug, I'm going to sell it here. So for this mug, you can get it for $7. $7 for the Dunoon porcelain. Forgive me, number 38. Dunoon porcelain, number 38, $7. All right. I mentioned I had a good chance to get some good ephemera. And if you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen some of what I'm about to show. So one of the things that I came across was an opportunity to pick up a very large lot. I'm talking over 75 of them, collections of vintage postcard folders. So these are the large letter vintage postcards, but they have the folder to it that then inside are photographs. Now, unlike what was more popular in the 80s and 90s, where these became postcards in and of themselves. So you would buy one and then you'd get all these other postcards you could tear apart. These are literally just photographs. So this is kind of like a little souvenir photograph of, this one happens to be the Palm Beaches of Florida. And you can see the individual architecture, palm trees, great condition. What I did was I had a set of about 19 of these that are in all comparable condition that have all been used. So you can see this one actually has an address to it going up to Milwaukee. So we're in Michelle's stomping grounds, and they all have stamps on them. The ones that I could read, we were running anywhere from the 40s, the 50s, and the 60s. I'm not dividing them up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do these as a grab bag. So if you've been familiar with the Trusty's bargain bin in the past, we're going to do the same type of thing. These are $2 a piece, but you don't get to pick which one you get. These are every single one of them is going to be worth more than $2. We've got Christina postcards and patina, so she can totally judge me. So we've got Palm Beach, we've got Niagara Falls, Holland, Michigan, Charm Spots of Florida, Las Vegas, Waterloo, Iowa, Niagara Falls, Salt Lake City, Universal Studios, Greenfield Village, Michigan, Storybook Land, Wisconsin, Salt Lake City, New York, Chattanooga, Alexandria, Virginia, Florida, with a big letter of Florida on the back, San Francisco, DC, New York. So we have 19 of these. If you would like one, you don't get to pick. If you would like one, you need to give me the letter I'm about to give you. So if you'd like one of these, total grab bag style, just like I've done with the Wade Whimsies and some of the other pieces, if you would like one, If you want more than one, you need to put your letter in and then go in and put another letter. So I don't have enough. I'm assuming these are going to be popular. So you can't just say I want 19 of them. You need to claim them one at a time. We'll see how many go, and you can get them for $2 a piece by giving me letter R. R, $2 a piece, gets you one of the grab bag style, one of these that I just showed you. I'll be selling the rest of them probably grab bag style, maybe into sets. I've got to decide what to do with the rest of them. And holy cats, these were popular. Somebody wants tea. I don't have a tea, so that's okay. Yeah, I think I just ran out of my 20, or 19. Yeah. So the other ones that I have are not canceled. So depending on how many people want these, like what I'll do is I'll try and fulfill the first 19. Once I get filled with those, depending on how many I have left, maybe I will cut into the non-circulated ones. I'm sorry, the woman that has postcards in her name, you might be able to tell me this. I wasn't finding a huge difference between whether they were for this style, whether they were used or not used. I just was separating them for my own edification. So what I'll do is I'll reach out to those of you who miss out on the first 19. And if you want an uncanceled one, I'll dig into that, because like I said, I have 72. So this is 19 of them. The rest of them are uncanceled. I've got 3 that are black and white. I'm going to do that something different because those are from the 20s. And then I have some international ones. I'll probably do something different with those. So anyway, I wasn't sure these would be popular. I totally proven wrong. So I may be doing an ephemera sale, anyway. So let's see. Number 38, the Cottage Path mug went to Helen Casey. Number 47, the Cotton Bunny that wasn't perfect went to Deanna Dill. And number 13, the Time magazines went to Mid-Century Wasted. We're just sneaking into their definition of mid-century, 1969. And then number 24, we already did that one. Auntie Christie got the perfect condition one. And then Deanna Dill got the one that has a little bit of flaw, but has the manufacturer's mark. So, okay, I can't believe I still haven't finished. I only have a handful of things left, though. I will jump to the next piece of pottery. This was actually fun to research. Even a Huckster helper got involved in this one because it is what I have now determined is an olive boat. And it is apparently a mid-century modern olive boat. There is some discrepancy on this, but it is signed. And it is Carnival is the style, or is the name of the pattern. And that bizarre signature is the signature from McCarty. It's McCarty, not McCarthy. McCarty Pottery in Memphis. And I found these listed as late as 2000, but most of them were calling them 60s mid-century modern. So I truly don't know, but I will tell you, these sell fairly regularly. There's 2 different sizes. There's a 16-inch and this 8-inch. So this is the smaller of the 2. It's very narrow. It's 1 3/4 inches across, and it is an olive boat. Now they do come in different colors. This one is the orange with the yellow on the inside. There's an all tan one that came a little bit later. So this again is theoretically mid-century modern. Mid-century wasted can correct me if they choose. But anyway, so it's marked McCarty Pottery, Memphis, Tennessee, Carnival pattern. Trying to find the tag. And you can have it for $10. So $10 for the mid-century modern olive boat. $10. They give me number 63. $10, 63 for the McCarty Pottery Memphis olive boat. An elderly poodle. I see your question. Watch your mail. It's on its way to you. I hope you enjoy it. All right. Next piece, I'm going to kind of skip a couple things. This one I think is going to be popular. This is another set of figurines. This is the later Otagiri label, the gold label OMC, the one that triggered the discussion between Kelly and Vinny. But it is a pair of brown ducks, I guess. So one of them you can see has the wings up, the head nested forward, and then this one also has his back wings crossed up, and his head is tucked into under his feathers. So they are a pair, but they're not identical. They're designed to go together. So it's a pair of 2 Otagiri foil labeled ducks, and they are available for $12. $12 for the pair of Otagiri ducks, $12 by giving me number 28. Number 28, $12 for the Otagiri ducks. All right. The last piece I'm going to show is a little piece, another little dog. This was actually part of the fundraiser sale that I did for Just One More Dachshund Rescue last fall or last winter. Unfortunately, it didn't sell. So making it available here. It's a little planter, air plant not included, but for those who are turning the air plant vision into a drinking game, chug along because this is the only one you get, so make it count. So you've got an air plant in a little Japan dog vase. So you've got the little dog kind of hugging the vase. It's primarily white. I don't know if at some point it was coal painted. There is a tiny bit of green, which is not reading well on the camera. But this side of the dog, all going down his side here, is kind of like a sage green. Very, very light. And so the lights are too bright and it's not really showing. But there is a little bit of color just on his side. You can see the color still in the ear and the eyes and the tongue. I don't know if other than the little gold at the top, if the vase was ever decorated with more. Sometimes they're cold painted and the paint wears off. So I really don't know, but I knocked the price down to be able to sell it in the sale, and he's available for $5. So $5 for the little Japan and dog vase, air plant not included, $5 by giving me number 23. Number 23, $5 for the little doggy air plant. And I am going to stop it there. So sorry, I ran a little bit long. I don't know if the Huckster Helper was able to put all of the winners of the postcards. So hopefully she wrote them down and I can name them. So stick around if you were trying for one of the postcards. I will rattle off, or just check the feed. And here's what we're gonna do. If you wanted one of those postcards, send me an email. Assume you're getting one. You may not get one of the ones that were canceled, the ones that have the stamps on them. But I will then, if you don't, I will give you the option of getting another one. Again, it'll be grab bag style, but you could say, no, I only wanted the ones with stamps. If you don't care, I can probably take care of everyone. But I said that about the Wade Whimsies too, and I found out. And for those of you who've been with us before, Huckster Helper's last day is today. She leaves for school. Basically, she leaves for school over the weekend. So what she's doing is her school has gone to online, but we wanted her to have a college experience. And to me, the best part of the college experience was getting out of the freaking house. So we worked with her and some of her friends, found a place. They will be in an apartment with four girls will be in the apartment. And she will be there until Thanksgiving break, and then they will be coming home. So everyone, hopefully, if you've been watching or working with us before, this is the Huckster Helper. She's always chosen to be off screen, even though she's an actress too. Mm-hmm. But she is here, and she's been helping me all night, and I'm going to miss her a lot. So appreciate all the help she gave me. So now you all got to see what the Huckster Helper looks like. All right, so really quick, I'm not even going to name the names. If you wanted it, just give me an email. I will then sift through, and I will let the ones who picked, who got the individual signed ones, I'll just put it in your invoice. All the rest of you all respond and say, hey, you got Plan B. Do you want? And they're the exact same type. In some cases, they're duplicates. They're just not served. So I don't think you're getting anything less than. You're just kind of cutting into the pile I would have put into my ephemera sale. So well, I'm glad they were popular. So thank you so much. I did miss a couple of the names to announce. So 23, the Japan Dog Planter went to Connie Cable. 28, the Brown Duck figures went to Terry Ann Eclectics, This and That. And 63, the Carnival Mid-Century Modern Olive Boat went to Brooke Lagan. So that gets us all caught up. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Did you want to say anything?
Yeah, sure. Thank you guys so much. I've had a really fun summer. This has been always the highlight of my week. So happy Thursday, everybody.
Isn't she a good liar?
And I will see you all in November. I might be lurking in the chat until then. We shall see.
So anyway, thanks so much for joining. Sorry it ran longer. I usually try and cut us off at 9, but hope you had fun. So thanks again for joining me. Thank you for giving your time and putting your trust in a trusty huckster. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.